How's it going, guys? This is David with Joe's Gaming and Electronics, here with a Solo 3 wireless repair video. Today I'll be showing you guys how to replace a Solo 3 wireless left hinge. This repair is difficult, so if you guys think you're not capable of this repair, you can always send them into a repair center to be repaired by a professional. This repair does require soldering, so if you guys don't have a soldering machine, you might want to send them in for a repair. So as you can tell, this hinge is broken. We'll be replacing it with this hinge piece right here. So the first thing you want to do is remove this ear pad. Go ahead and do that with the pry tool and just lift this ear pad up just like that. Now there's some tape underneath that ear pad that you can go ahead and peel up. This should expose 3 screws that are holding the speaker together. So go ahead and unscrew the 3 screws underneath the speaker. Once you got that unscrewed, you can pop this open, and here you can tell that there's wires glued along the side here and the edges. You'll need to use the hot iron to kind of melt those out or remove them off. You don't want to pull it because it will tear the wires, and that's going to be a little bit more of an expensive repair. So once you got your iron, kind of heat it up and slowly remove the wires. Go ahead and unsolder these points here. Now remove this thick black wire and unsolder that too. This frees up the speaker. Set that aside. Now we got all these wires freed up. Next thing we're going to do is remove this panel here. So grab the pry tool, it's a little thinner, and we will go ahead and pry up the panel here. Start with one side, and it's all on clips. So you just clip around, remove the hinge, just like that, and it pops open. And you can pull these wires through just like this. So this inside panel is removed. And now what we want to do is remove this little 2-core wire from this thicker wire here. So we need to use iron again and melt away this sticker or tape that's holding it together. So now these wires are not connected, and we can go ahead and unplug these 2 connections. Remove this tape here and go ahead and remove these wires that are part of the main internal wire here. So let's place that to the side. So we're left with the wire that goes up into the headband and through the hinge. So we're gonna have to remove this. So the way you want to do this, if it doesn't come off easily as it does, you kind of want to help it out with the screwdriver. In this case, it came off easily. Kind of pull the wire through a little bit, not all the way. You're gonna need to bend this and remove the tiny pins that are inside the hinge. They're very small, so you don't want to lose those. Very tiny pin. Here's a broken piece. It falls out right away. You're gonna want to remove this little bracket here that you're gonna use for the other hinge. So go ahead and pull this through one at a time. Get those clips through. All right. Now, what we're gonna have to do is pull back this headband cushion here and unscrew 2 screws that are underneath. All right, so we got those 2 screws unscrewed. At this point, you can remove the broken part of the hinge. And now, the problem here is the headband is also broken. There's 2 pieces that are supposed to be here. I'll go ahead and replace the headband at the same time. So here's the new headband that I'll be using. As you can tell, the old one is broken because of these little points here at the end that broke off. And they're critical to hold the little pins in place. If this headband is broken here, your hinge will eventually fall out. So let's go ahead and remove the screws underneath the right side. And at this point, we can start removing this headband cushion here. It's kind of glued at the tips here, so you kind of want to free this up. So if your headband isn't broken with your repair, that's fine. You can skip these steps right here that I'm doing. So I'm replacing the headband as it is damaged. All right, remove the headband cushion. And now you can take the wire out, and that frees up the headband that is broken. We won't be using that. So our next step is to attach the new headband. Make sure you have the left and the right side correct position. So the S should be on the right side, the B should be on the left side. Alright, so now we will go ahead and install this hinge. So grab your new hinge piece here and place this bracket here that you took off the old hinge and kind of want to install it back into place. Just like that, it should be in there. That's what makes the hinge clip and stay in place. So you got that in there. Push these wires through again. And now you can push it through the other part of the hinge. All right, we got that through. And the hinge is good to go. So finally, there's a tedious point in this where you have to install this tiny little pin into the hinge. So I use tweezers and I go ahead and put this pin right in. It's a lot harder than it looks. I got it here in the first try, but it could fall out. You gotta do this a couple of times. So got that pin in. It's a pain in the butt, but you should get it. So at this point we can slide the headband into the hinge. That way it secures those pins that they won't fall out. And go ahead and push this wire into the headband. Just like this. And go ahead and install the headband cushion. So the arrow here indicates the right side of the headphones. So make sure you got that correct. clip it in. It's all in clips. Go ahead and screw the screws back into the headband. Make sure it's the short little screws, because if you mix it up with the speaker screws, you're gonna get the screw going through the headband, which you don't want. Alright, so at this point, the hinge is installed. It's looking good. Next part, you'd want to put a little glue along the canal here. Not too much, just enough to hold this wire down in there. What I like to use is super glue. So get a little bit of super glue and kind of just add very little amount into the hinge. And you can lay that wire into the canal. So what I like to do to get that fresh, when you kind of get that crisp lock in the hinge, kind of want to move this pin here up just a little bit. Tightens up the way you extend the hinge here. Gives it that nice fresh new feel. So at this point, we're going to want to install the panels back. So grab your Bluetooth board panel. That's the outside panel with the Bluetooth board. Go ahead and connect the larger wire and then the smaller one, just like that. Now what I like to do is put a little bit of glue where the wires used to be connected or glued down, and place that back in. Just like that. Now grab the inside panel here, and another little trick that we like to do is expand this hole here. So I grab this screwdriver, I'm going to expand the hole where the wires feed through. Just so it's easier to push the wires through. So now we can feed these wires through the panel here. And at this point, you can place the inside panel onto the hinge, and you grab the other panel here and start by clipping in one side, and this other side just clips in just like that. Extend the hinge a couple of times, make sure no wires are in the way or get caught inside anywhere. And now you can push this panel, that way it's clipped all the way around. So that looks good. Finally grab the speaker and remove any of this old glue here that they have on top of the points. That way it's easier to solder back on. Alright, grab your solder iron and let's solder these wires back on. So I like to start with the red, then the blue one, then goes the dark one, which is like purple black or whatever. Then the green. And finally the copper. so that takes care of the thicker 5-core wire here. That's what we call that wire, the PCB internal wire, just in case you want to purchase that on our website. And next we will solder these 2-core wire. So start with the red copper and then the blue copper. Alrighty. Now you kind of have to tuck this behind the AUX port like this. And now we can close the speaker. Make sure the wires are not in the way of the screws so you don't puncture them. Go ahead and screw the speaker back in. Alright, finally we'll be installing the muff back on. Remove this old tape that's on the muff, just like that. And we do sell these on our website. This is the ear pad tape. Go ahead and install that. And now all you gotta do is align it with the pins, and there you have it. That's a Solo 3 left hinge replacement. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and comment down below. You can also purchase any of the parts in this video on our website, www.joesge.com. Thanks for watching.